Thinking about moving to Columbus? There's a few things you should know about Columbus before you make that move. In this video, I'm breaking down the top 10 things I think you should know before you make the move to Columbus. And then you can decide if Columbus is the right place for you. If this is your first time to the channel, please subscribe, tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first one to know about the market here in Columbus. And you can also know when I put out new videos. My name is Billy Fristow and I'm a local agent here in Columbus. As you can see, I'm here in the beautiful downtown. And this is a Living in North Columbus YouTube channel. We get calls every day from people just like you looking to make a move to Columbus. So if you're moving in 9 or 90 days, please reach out. Shoot me a text, call me, send me an email. I'd love to get in contact with you and help you make a smooth transition to Columbus. Let's break down the top 10 things you should know if you're thinking about making a move to Columbus. The number one thing you should know about Columbus, it is one of the fastest growing cities in the Midwest. And last year in 2024, it was the fastest growing city in the country. It often ranks second only to Indianapolis in the Midwest, but there's a ton of growth with people moving to Columbus for jobs, affordability, and quality of life. There's a lot of new developments here when it comes to companies. Amazon is making a huge push here with data centers and fulfillment centers. Intel is in the process of building a huge facility out in New Albany, which could have huge implications for jobs here in the Columbus market. And just in general, a lot of startup tech companies are booming. There's a lot of job opportunities here. So that is the number one reason why you should move to Columbus. It's one of the fastest growing cities. There's a lot of opportunities here and affordability. The second reason why you may think about moving to Columbus is the cost of living is lower than the national average by about 7%, according to Rockford Homes. Housing is affordable compared to other major metro areas. Housing is affordable. Utilities and groceries and transportation costs are reasonable. They're only about 1% above the national average for utilities, 2.5% above the national average for groceries, and 1% above the national average for transportation costs. You know, we're talking gas, bus lines, that kind of thing. Healthcare costs are below the national average, and goods and services as well are below the national average. Here's a tip. Some areas of Columbus are more affordable than others, and I've done videos in these areas, so you can check those out. You can get a house for, $300,000 in Hilliard and say Delaware. So that is number two, is affordability of living in Columbus. Number three is the job market is booming. To live comfortably in Columbus, a single person needs to make a little over $80,000 a year. To live comfortably with 2 kids and 2 working adults, about $209,300 is, the number to live comfortably here in Columbus. Major employers here in Columbus: Ohio State University, Honda, JP Morgan, Nationwide Insurance is headquartered here. Commerce, and there's tech company startups all over the place. Cardinal Health, strong healthcare sector and finance sector. So if you are thinking about moving here, reach out. Would love to help you. Type in the comments, hey, I'm thinking about moving and I'd love to connect. All right, let's move along. So number 4, shorter commute times and the traffic is less than, like a New York or in LA or even Chicago. We were just in Chicago a couple of weeks ago. To go 3.5 miles, it took us upwards of 25 minutes. Start and stop traffic, even in the middle of the day when it's not rush hour. So don't get me wrong, 270 and I-70, you're gonna have some traffic, but it's not gridlock like you're gonna get, in some of those bigger cities. Downtown parking can get a little pricey. As you can see, that's where I'm at right now, is downtown. Suburbs to live in: Dublin, New Albany may have a closer commute to some companies that are, not downtown and headquartered up in northern Columbus, which is what I concentrate on in the Living in North Columbus YouTube channel. So if you're thinking of making a move, please tap the bell so you can see my videos when they come out, or check out any of my other videos on the channel. All right, let's move on. Number 5 in the things you should know, Columbus has an amazing housing market and amazing neighborhoods, but they're all a bit different, different feels. If you're looking for like urban vibes, trendy, you have the short north, a lot of, eclectic like restaurants, shops, or German Village. Housing down in German Village is pretty cool, all brick, mostly brick homes, with cobble streets. So pretty cool. If you're thinking of, you would rather, have that suburban lifestyle, then you have Dublin, you have Powell, you have Westerville. Those are all up north of Columbus. So you're close enough to the city, but you're farther enough away to still have that suburban feel. If you're looking for a cheaper home, smaller starter home, Hilliard, Reynoldsburg, those are areas where housing is a little bit more affordable. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of housing in those areas too, but those areas can be a little bit more affordable. Tip would be to reach out, get a hold of me. We can tour some houses before you make that decision, where you want to live. So you can be sure, of the area you want to be in before you make that move here to Columbus. Number 6 on the points before you make that move to Columbus would be Ohio weather. So be ready for all 4 seasons because you'll see all of them. You have hot, humid summers and you have cold, snowy winters. Like right now, it looks great. We are in April, but it's still only 55 out. But it's weird because it's supposed to be 80 in 2 days and it was 75 2 days ago. So the ebbs and flows of living in Ohio and you will find that out. But the fall is beautiful and unpredictable springs. I mean, you're gonna have a lot of rain, and I think when they say April showers bring May flowers, they were talking about Columbus because we had a lot of rain over the last month or so. So, my pro tip would be get some snow boots and buy a house with some AC so you can be comfortable in the summer and be ready for those winters when you have to shovel. So let's move on. So point number 7 is here in Columbus, football is a big deal with Ohio State being here. Obviously they just won the national championship. So Buckeyes football, it takes over the city in the fall, and you're gonna want to avoid campus and or downtown during games because the bars are packed on game days. On Saturdays when they're home, it's hard to get around with traffic before, after the games. During the games, the bars are gonna be packed. However, the streets kind of soften up during the game because everyone is in the game over 100,000 deep. Also here in Columbus, you have the Columbus Blue Jackets, hockey, NHL, and they're making a run towards the playoffs this year. Hopefully Johnny Gaudreau's looking down on them. You also have the Columbus Clippers, the AAA baseball team, and then you have the Columbus Crew, MLS soccer team, who they just won the MLS Cup 2 years ago. So all these teams are really good, and it's really fun to go to games. It's something for the family to do, and everything's in the general vicinity. So you can walk to a lot of restaurants, bars, and it's a really good time. The Columbus Crew and the Clipper Stadium right next to each other. And then Nationwide Arena where the Blue Jackets play is like a block and a half away. And then Ohio State is a couple miles up the road, but all fun things to do here in Columbus. So let's keep it rolling. Point number 8 is Columbus is a foodie town. There's a lot of, diverse food here, whether it's Somali food, Mexican food, Korean food. North Market has a ton of different, places in there, from waffles to pastas to, macaroons. You've got Jenny's Splendid ice creams. You've got Thurman Cafe, which I talked about down in a German village. They have a food challenge. It's called the Thurminator. I do have one of my buddies that actually ate that thing. It's huge. And then you have Cameron Mitchell Restaurants. He's one of the biggest restaurateurs around. You have Avenue, the Avenue, Steakhouse, the Pearl. Those are just some of his restaurants. Cameron's American Bistro, which is up in Worthington. So, Columbus is a foodie town, and there's a ton of stuff to eat here. It makes it fun if you're, hey, tonight let's go check out some Mexican. You have that. You want to go get a good steak? You have that. That is one of the great things about Columbus is the food. Think about that also when you're trying to make that move here. So another bonus, there's no state income tax on Social Security. So if you're retiring to Ohio, there's no state tax on your Social Security benefits. Also, senior and disabled homestead exemptions protect the first $26,200 of the home's value from taxation. That is a benefit of, moving to Ohio, Columbus. If you are retiring, you're getting taxed less and you don't get taxed at all on your Social Security benefits. So that's another great point. Last but not least, but the 10th reason, in my opinion, of why you should move to Columbus, there's always something to do. Columbus Zoo, COSI, which right behind me, if you can see that sparkle in the back, that's COSI. The sun is reflecting on those panels, that's COSI. I'm down here, the Scioto Mile, and right across there, there's an amphitheater. There's also the water, there's water fountains there in the summer. You got kids running around, they do the rib off down here. And down here, the rib off encompasses this whole area right here. They also have a crazy food truck festival where there's food trucks lining the street right here and lining that bridge right there. So tons of food trucks. You have Red, White, and Boom, which is the 4th of July down here. The fireworks are out of hand. The Ohio State Fair is here in the summer too, which is super awesome. They usually have big bands playing there. Ton of stuff for the kids. They have farm animals. They do, the cows and the pigs and everything. My kids used to love that when they were littler, to go there and walk around and check out the cows and the pigs and whatnot. So if you're looking about making a move to Columbus, call me, text me, shoot me an email. I'd love to help you make that smooth move here to Columbus because it's a great town, tons to do, tons to eat, job opportunities are here, and the housing market is booming. So again, Billy Fristo, Living in North Columbus YouTube channel. And as always, just call Billy and let me help you make that smooth transition to Columbus.